Erick, first winter warm-up for the Cardinals. You're welcome to make any opening remarks or statements, or we can jump straight into Q&A, whatever you prefer.
Let's go Q&A.
All right, questions for Erick?
Erick, the winter is kind of unfolding things pretty upfront, kind of what they were wanting to accomplish. How confident were you that you were going to be here this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's the boring answer, but it's try not to focus on those things. My goal is to get as ready as I can for the season, because beginning of the season matters just as much as the end. So, it's one of those things where I've just been focusing on myself and getting as ready as possible and letting those things unfold on their own. But right now, it's just focusing on being a Cardinal and ready to go.
When you look at the success that you had last year, what do you take out of that year, whether it's routine, whether it's prep, whatever, that kind of means into your offseason work?
Yeah, I think it's try to repeat the offseason that I had last year. Also, it's came in last year with a lot of questions in the sense of can I do what I did in Korea here, be successful, have a great season, and was able to accomplish a lot of that in my personal goals. So it's about refining things and trying to build off that and be even better this year.
Erick, you had obviously a short period of time with the Cardinals. Is there anything going into the end of the season that they saw, wanted to work on or tweak, or is there anything that as you got more used to them that you guys were looking to do this offseason?
Yeah, I think, when I first got here, it was about getting to know guys. I think, especially like my pitching style and getting used with the catchers and things like that. Finally, I think there towards that last month of the season, I felt like we really got connected and my pitching was even better. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I guess my personal goal, and talked with Dusty about, is just getting my changeup consistency. That was something that I felt like late in the year was a little not at its best. So that's been my goal for the off season, is getting that. And yeah.
What does working on changeup consistency look like for you?
So I mean, I guess in like the nerdy terms is like the vertical. When I sat down with my team in Arizona too, and talking with Dusty, just the vertical, like the induced vertical. When I get it below a 2, I guess I think we gave up 1 hit on that all year. So that was kind of my goal, is to pitch shape and make sure I get it to where I can do that consistently. So if I'm not giving up hits, that's a good thing.
When you say your team in Arizona, what does that look like? Is it like a facility that was put so you're motivated to go to training?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I moved out to Arizona specifically to go to this place called Push Performance, and Next Era Physical Therapy. They have a pitching lab, PT, strength. So they kind of got the whole deal, and that's where I work. They kind of turned my career around in a sense, and so yeah, that's kind of getting healthy, feeling right, and then the pitch design to talk about the consistency.
Your pitching staff last year was loaded with veterans. This year it's going to be you and Sonny, and then Miles, and then a bunch of young guys. How is your role as far as being a leader? Trying to help the younger guys. How does that change?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I think about last year, I was, I think, the oldest guy on the staff in Chicago. So, that was the first time I'd really had something like that. Kind of always been under the wing of a lot of superstars with the Nationals. But, yeah, that's something I learned a lot about last year. And what guys passed on to me, I'm excited to pass on to them. But like you said, we still have, a few savvy vets, and, get to pass on all the knowledge I can to these young guys and hope have a lot of success for them.
You said that going to Arizona sort of turned things around. Is that going into Korea? Is that when that?
Yeah, well, I made that decision after the 22 season, and the Nats actually decided to non-tender me that off season, but that was when I headed to Korea. But yeah, that was the big off season of, I guess, in the sense of my numbers taking a positive turn.
To get that under a 2 like you're talking about, what is it? Grip, is it motion? What is the key to you to get it?
Yeah, it's I guess tinkering with grip. I feel like over a long season, when you play catch every day for months, like if the ball starts to move millimeters in your hand and it feels normal, like it can get away from your grip in a sense. But yeah, it's like we're talking about like seam shifting and getting like the proper rotations I'm looking for, and you do all that stuff on the slow motion edgertronic, and yeah, it's all fun stuff, and this is the best time to work on things like that when you know, you're not having guys trying to hit the ball 500 feet off you.
When you have a career path like you had guys who have asked you about the benefits of doing that, of 7 days you're for a pro league or taking time off. I mean, have you kind of had those conversations? I'm only curious, guys, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of guys, maybe in the sense of, what would you recommend maybe jumping to a different league rather than, I guess, maybe bouncing around in AAA and trying to make the team? For me, it worked perfect. I know everyone's path's different, but I try to recommend it if it's something that they're looking like. For me, I was going to Korea with 2 new pitches that I needed to work on and showing proof of throwing over 175 innings, and you know, it worked out perfect for me.
Do you have a sense, like, as AAA has changed a little bit over the last couple of years, is that a more attractive option for guys, do you think, whether it's there, whether it's Mexico, whatever, guys sort of seem to find spots where they maybe would have otherwise taken a AAA deal that now aren't as much anymore?
Yeah, I mean, every organization's run differently, but you know, I've been in AAA before and watched, you know, veterans get passed up by young guys. Maybe if they're even pitching better than them, you know, there's importance for teams to try their young prospects and things of that nature. But I just wanted to be in a place where I knew I was going to get the ball every 5th day and be depended on. And you know, I can't speak for every AAA, but I know I've unfortunately seen, you know, the way it shakes out there.
Personally, what do you miss about Korea?
I mean, the price of everything. But I loved Korea. People were kind, good food. Enjoyed playing there, so that's a place that'll always be special in my heart.
When you entered last season, going into Chicago, and kind of your mindset of trying to prove yourself again in the major leagues, and now coming into this season for the Cardinals, and knowing that it's a walk year and you're going to be, you know, pitching for another contract going forward, can you kind of talk about your mindset coming into this season and just, you know, your motivations and what kind of headspace you're in this year?
Yeah, obviously, in the sense of like a job and things of that nature, it's you know, important to perform, and that's you know, something that's always, it's impossible not to think about. But it's one of those things where, you know, if I continue in my head to put in the work that I have and trust my process and everything, and trust that I put in enough, that those things will work themselves out. But you know, last year was big on the sense of proving to myself that it could be done, and now it's this year is proving to improve on that and be better. And I'm a very competitive person, one that holds myself to high standards, and so it's every time I step on that mound, I'm proving to myself that I should be here and that I'm good enough and things like that. So just keeping that mentality, keeping your head down, and next thing you know, you're in September and hopefully look back on a good year.
Eric, getting dealt in the middle of the year, how jarring was it now looking back on it, and how much more comfortable are you now because you know the people around here, you know the environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of our job. It happens, but like I said earlier, getting to know the catchers, getting to know them, to know my style, and all the coaches to understand what I like to do. I think, you know, now we have a little understanding of each other, and it's exciting to start fresh and into the 25 season.
Could you get your old place in Florida back, like you back into
Yeah, well, I'm not far away from where I've been, but yeah, back to Florida, a little bit different area, but not far away. At least I'm familiar.
With Wilson moving to first base, Ivan's going to have a larger role probably this year. What's your relationship like with him? What do you think his future could be behind the plate?
Yeah, you know, I got to see him a little bit there at the end. I don't think, maybe I've only thrown to him a couple times. I think me and Pedro were a battery a lot together last year, so that'll be big for spring training. But you know, getting used to him and his catching style. But what I got to see, I guess from the bench, watching him play was, you know, hard work and a pretty good bat.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.